Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guests today are from the American Legion. And first up in the first segment is Harry Hansen. He's the department's senior vice commander. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For those that aren't familiar with exactly what the American Legion is, let's give them sort of a background on it.
Well, basically, we're a group of veterans helping veterans. We've all served in the military at one point or another. Through our eligibility, we've joined the American Legion. And we've basically dedicated ourselves to help fellow veterans, children and youth in our local communities, and anybody else that we can help within our areas.
If you can go back in time and maybe talk about why was it decided or necessary way back when that an organization like the American Legion should come about and why it was necessary?
Well, we were started back in 1919 after World War I. They thought that we needed an organization that veterans could help veterans. You know, and the Legion was originally designed to end after the war that ended all wars. And we all know that never happened, so the Legion has continued on and has continued to serve veterans throughout all the major wars.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that, actually, and I bet a lot of people didn't know that the American Legion wasn't designed to be continued on, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about it. I mean, if there's no more wars, there's no more veterans.
Right.
At some point in time, everybody passes on, and there's nobody left to continue on.
Did they actually believe, though, that all wars would end and it would be utopia on Earth after that, or?
I really believe they thought that
Really?
at one point. Yeah, certainly. And that was a war to end all wars. That's how it was written.
As times have changed, and you could say that wars themselves has changed, but the veterans of these wars, how has the American Legion changed from way back when to what it is today? I know it's much more evolved and much more involved in the community as well as helping fellow veterans, but can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I mean, over the years, as the American Legion has evolved, we've added programs like the oratorical contest, Boys State, our Legion colleges, Legion baseball, the Legion Riders, Sons of the American Legion. As time has evolved, we've added these programs to include other individuals in our organization. They may not be veterans, but they're sons of veterans. The Ladies Auxiliary, spouses of veterans, daughters, cousins, sisters, brothers, So we want to include everybody, and we call it now we're at Legion family.
Yeah.
So we're evolving over time.
Yeah, it's not even American Legion anymore. It's American Legion Family. Is that really the name of the organization?
No, it's still the American Legion, but we have a motto. We talk about Legion family, and we try to include our spouses, our daughters, sons, and relatives in the whole program.
You mentioned daughters and sisters and things like that. Talk about women's role in the American Legion these days.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you would find that everybody would say that the American Legion Auxiliary is kind of the backbone that keeps us going. They really do. They support us and other veterans like you would not believe. They're out there in the local communities. They're running their programs, and basically their role is to support veterans. And they do an outstanding job.
Not to mention the fact that more women are involved with frontline activity in war these days too, correct?
Yeah,
So.
yes, and a lot of times you'll get dual members. You'll get the female veterans that will join the auxiliary and the Legion and serve in both roles.
So let's get to the guts of it now. Just hit on some important topics. Let's start with membership. Let's talk about that.
Membership is our lifeblood. That's what keeps us going, and what we've started this year, national headquarters came down and basically asked us to come up with a 5-year plan. We're coming up on our 100-year anniversary in 2019, excuse me. And they gave us, we want to do an all-time membership high of 3 million by that time.
Wow.
So we're about 2.1, 2.3, somewhere in there is right now. So we've got 5 years to come up with a way to get to 3 million members.
And where'd you say you were right now?
I think we're at 2.1, somewhere in that realm.
And what are some ways, like obviously, coming on shows, getting the word out, but what are some other ways that might be kind of thrown around now as far as ideas to get more veterans involved as far as membership? Because obviously there are a lot that, for whatever reason, they decided not to be a member at this time.
Well, you know, a lot of it is they've never been asked.
Is that right? Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to. I'm sure it's countrywide. It's the same. We do a poor job of getting the word out of who we are. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get into the 21st century. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got all the social media avenues
That's so important now too.
Yeah,
you know,
we're learning. It's a learning process for us. So we're learning how to get into that mode. We've got billboards now. We're learning how to do advertisements in the papers. It's really getting the word out that we're learning how to do that better.
I think it was probably just assumed that if you were a veteran, why wouldn't you want to join American Legion? And some people, like you said, may have not known about it. And networking is the key. So social media in this day and age is so important. It might even be more important than an actual website itself, because a website is very static. But a social media in any aspect, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, it's interactive, it's networking, it's you liking this page, being a friend with this person.
Correct.
So it's a very much a domino effect.
Oh yeah, and that's something that we're learning. So we're getting better at that, and over the next 5 years, that's really what we're targeting to increase our membership. We've got revitalization efforts going on right now. We just finished up today a revitalization in the 5th District right here in this part of the state, where we're contacting veterans who aren't a member of a physical post. They were signed up online or through the mail, through our national headquarters.
So they don't go to a brick and mortar location,
Correct.
but they're still a member of American Legion?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're contacting these veterans. We want to get them into the local posts. We want to get them involved. We want to get them involved with their local communities. And that's how we improve our membership. Our local communities, they see what we do. People hear about what we do.
Right, because they might think that, well, it's like the typical private clubs where people just go and they hang out in a building and sit at a bar or sit in front of a TV and everybody just kind of reminisces. But it's so much more. It's not that. It's so much more.
Right, and that's the stigma that we've had for a long time, because there's other veterans organizations out there, and you don't want to get lumped in with that crowd. We are more than just a bar. We are more than just a post. We are involved with our local communities. We have a lot of programs that involve our children and youth. We have oratorical contests for our high school students.
Let's talk about that since you brought it up, because it's one of the key things that we do want to get to in this segment. Talk about that.
Well, our oratorical contest was designed to get high school students involved with the Constitution. And it's part of how we teach Americanism through the Legion. Kids will learn they have to do an 8 to 10 minute speech on the Constitution and how it relates to citizenship. And then they have another speech, a 3 to 5 minute speech. It's really an impromptu speech. There's 4 subjects. They get an opportunity to prepare for those 4 subjects, but they don't know which one they're going to get. It's drawn, and then they're given 5 minutes to prepare for that one once they're told what the subject is.
Interesting.
So it teaches them about the Constitution. It teaches them how to speak in public. And that's one of the programs that we do. And these kids can earn from the post level to the district to the department all the way to national. They can earn in upwards of $18,000 in scholarship money for college. So it's just one of those programs that we do, that we offer our children and youth.
And I guarantee you, like you were mentioning before, a lot of people probably aren't aware of that program, and you're trying to get the word out about it.
Right, and it's up to the posts. We really depend on our local posts to go into the high schools and promote these programs. Not every high school offers public speaking anymore, but some are bringing it back. In my town, we brought public speaking back to the high school, so it's nice. And they actually, part of their curriculum is about the Constitution. So it falls right in place.
You're able to be on TV, so obviously you have some public speaking training, I would imagine, or no?
None. None.
None at all?
None at all.
I want to jump around a little bit, and because you mentioned kids and scholarships and stuff like that. One of the things that, if we had time to mention, was the Legion College. And the reason I want to talk about that is it's all encompassing. As people are watching us in both Connecticut and Rhode Island, this can be something for both states. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, our Legion College program is a work in progress. We've been doing it for 8 or 9 years, I believe, and each year we try to improve on it. This year we're trying to we're going to be reaching out to Rhode Island and see if they would like to participate because they don't have a Legion College.
They're actually hearing about this for the first time now.
That's
right?
good. That's good. This year, as last year, it's at Camp Connery in Ashford, Connecticut, which is a Salvation camp, and we're looking to get between 40 and 60 people to come.
And that's a quick jump over the Rhode Island border,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So hopefully we can get together with the Department of Rhode Island and include them, and they can send down some of their Legionnaires who'd love to learn about the American Legion.
And that's still being firmed up at this point.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Okay.
We've confirmed the dates and the place. We'll send out a flyer to Rhode Island and ask them if they'd like to participate. But I mean, this is where Legionnaires can come to learn about the American Legion. We're offering courses this year in public speaking, protocol, how to run a meeting, how to chair a committee. Stuff like that, and this is stuff that they need to learn as they progress and get more involved in the American Legion.
Staying on the subject of youth, how about the State Police Youth League? Talk about that a little bit.
State Police Youth Week.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
This is a newer program for the state of Connecticut. It's going to be adopted at some point by as a national program as more states get involved with it. This is an opportunity for high school kids, 16 to 17 years old, to go to the State Police Academy for a week, and they get a condensed version of what their recruits go through.
Wow.
So, I mean, they learn physical conditioning, they go through inspections, they learn how to drive emergency vehicles, they learn firearms, they learn how to do the laser speed deal, they learn how to drive, they learn how to do criminal investigations, and it's an intense week. I mean, these guys scream, yell, pick them up, knock them down, pick them up, knock them down for an entire week. And to see the transformation from when they first get there, really not knowing what they're in for. I mean, and as soon as they leave the auditorium, I mean, they're getting yelled at.
Like a drill instructor
Oh
almost,
yeah. We thought boot camp was tough. These guys are tough.
But if they end up liking it, then this could be this could pique their interest in maybe a career going in that
Well,
direction.
this is what it's for. This is the intent. The kids that come to this are sponsored by local posts, and these kids are usually interested in law enforcement, some type of law enforcement. These are the kids that really want to go there.
Yeah.
And by the end of that week, it's unbelievable the transformation that these kids do.
A lot of stuff, a lot of programs, a lot more to get to. For people that want to learn more, is there a website they can go to?
Yes, you can go to ct.legion.org, and that's our state website, and it lists all of our programs, and it gives a brief overview of what they do and how they're run.
Harry Hansen is the department's senior vice commander. We're out of time.
Wow.
So, I know.
Wow.
So thank you for being on the. We got a lot more to get to, so we will. But we'll take a break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We believe strongly in supporting the children of America. Our youth programs include American Legion Baseball, Junior Shooting Sports, Boys and Girls State, the Oratorical Scholarship Program, Support for Scouting, and many others. We support and promote citizenship and integrity in America's future leaders. Go to legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.
Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. We are still chatting with the fine folks from the American Legion, and in this segment, past Deputy Commander Jim LaCourciere, and I did pronounce the name right, I had to practice it a few times. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Very welcome and honored to be here, Sean. Thank you.
And we are honored to have you on the show today as an American Legion member. And at the beginning of the first segment, we kind of talked a little bit about the history and sort of the mantra of the American Legion. So I kind of want to go back to that a little bit and maybe get into a little bit more. The 4 pillars. Talk about that.
The 4 pillars of the American Legion, the foundation of the American Legion is based on Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, taking care of our veterans before, during, and after their return home. The nation's national security. We're very big and up to date on the act of terrorism and what's going on around our local communities, especially these days with home invasions and everything else taking place here in Connecticut. We try to maintain a watchful eye and give awareness and prevention. Americanism, teaching flag etiquette, teaching the Constitution, teaching the proper way of the American way of life. And fourth and most passionately to me is children and youth, taking care of our children here in the country, which also ties in with our VA&R, what we call OMK, Operation Military Kids. You know, and basically what that is the Ladies Auxiliary actually runs the program. The American Legion supports the program. And what it is a lot of our military kids, they transfer from state to state, school to school. And during that move, a lot of our youth, they get bullied. And what we try to do is step in, intervene, give them a mentor, give them some sort of care packages, you know, comfort items, you know, and
bullying is an epidemic.
Yes, that is. Yes, that is.
Regardless of whether you're a military family or not, it just exists, you know, worldwide, I guess you could say.
Yes, it does. And we try to have a visible voice in the community, you know, to try to downsize the reality of the whole situation.
You know, in the first segment when I was chatting with Harry, do you agree with the fact that the American Legion, as great of an organization as it is for veterans and being involved in the community, the word is not out enough about this fine organization, and you're taking steps to kind of to rectify that, if you will?
Absolutely correct, Sean. The American Legion is being very proactive these days. We're aware that a lot of communities, a lot of individuals actually confuse us. I don't know why, and I'm not trying to throw stones at any
other organization.
But a lot of them recognize the VFW before they recognize the American Legion, and we're trying to establish our name out there.
Why don't you describe the distinction between those two organizations?
They're both, the VFW and the American Legion are both wartime veteran service organizations. We're both very big nationally. We both carry a lot of weight in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill.
As far as lobbying?
As far as lobbying on behalf of the veterans, which we'll be up there next month doing that on Capitol Hill again. But the difference is the VFW, your what we call boots on the ground, had to be on foreign soil, whereas with the American Legion, all you had to do was serve during the wartime era. Your eligibility is during the wartime era, serving 1 day of active duty military. I did notice on the earlier segment when you were speaking with Butch, you were inquiring about the younger veterans. That's a very difficult nut to crack. But the reason is, in my opinion, is a lot of our young soldiers, male or female, when they're returning home, their first commitment after their first, second, third, especially a lot of them 4 or 5 tours, they want to be with their families, you know. So what we're trying to do, and we thank you. We thank you and your show very, very sincerely for inviting us on here today. We're trying to promote statewide the value of the American Legion and how we can pull the whole entire family together. And that's why we're trying to let them know about what's going on with our youth programs, what we do within the communities, and how we're actually there for the family.
Let's get a little bit more specific about some of those youth programs, things like the youth walks and Boy Scouts and things of that sort, because I know you're very passionate about it.
The children's walks, the kids walk, 100% of the proceeds here in Connecticut that we host, or anytime we do our walkathons, 100% stays here in Connecticut.
And for Rhode Island people, same thing for them.
Same thing. It stays within their state, and our proceeds go straight to our children's hospitals, every penny of it. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because in our region, what we call the 5th District, I'm the 5th District Chairman for the walkathon, and this year's event will be in April over at Fort Shantok State Park.
Nice.
The actual date and time has not been established yet.
But you'll be able to go to the website and be able to see once that gets firmed
We
up.
will have it out there. We'll have flyers out there, and I'm sure we'll contact you to put a slick up for us.
And the goal is to try to raise money and raise awareness and have as many people participate in it as you can. As a lot of people like to do their walks like later in the summer or in the fall or something like that, but you're doing yours early. You're doing it in the spring, basically.
We actually do it in April, yeah. The other event that we do here on the other side of the state, where we tie in the American Legion Riders, the Patriot Guard, a lot of your local motorcycle clubs, actually, is what we call Christmas in August, which kicks off over in Putnam. And basically, it's fill a tractor trailer with brand new presents, and the motorcycles that escort the tractor trailer all the way out to the Children's Hospital.
Is that what Legion Riders is?
The Legion Riders, the American Legion Riders are very proactive in the same regards. Like I said, we ride shoulder to shoulder with the Patriot Guard. The Legion Riders, we're there for all the funerals. For our soldiers returning home, we do a lot of fundraising for rehabilitating the home. Mm-hmm. I'm also the director here in Connecticut for a program that we call Heroes to Hometown, and having my tie-ins with the Legion Riders, it now gives us the value of immediate fundraising, yet being able to take care of a severely wounded soldier, modifying the home before he gets home while he's over at Bethesda or Walter Reed or wherever he may be.
Let me ask you this question, since you were talking about fundraising, and we're kind of out of or coming out of the recession that we've been in. Did that take a toll on you and any kind of a nonprofit or organization's ability to fundraise during those kind of economic times? Did you feel it as most did, or maybe still are a little bit?
We have all felt it, but today we actually have a lot of businesses, major corporations that have stepped forward.
No kidding.
With the awareness and everything.
Well, if you can get corporate help, then that's a big deal, because that's
yes.
where the major money comes from.
Yes.
That's interesting. And I've always found that regardless of the times, people are still willing to, they might not be able to dig into their pockets for as much, but they're still able to. It may not be at the top of their list of priorities, but they're willing to still in some way or shape or capacity.
Yes, even through volunteerism or you throw in a dollar here, I throw in a dollar there, those dollars add up too, because not everything that we do is monetary.
Right.
It's not about the buck. It's the value that we get, more or less, the receiving end of being able to see a child smile, or to be able to comfort a family, being able to put their mind at ease because we're able to provide them with the services that they need.
And that kind of brings me back to the youth walk that you were talking about in April. It's not necessarily, if you can't make some kind of financial commitment, you can volunteer, you can be there for moral support, take the walk, do it with somebody else. There's lots of different ways that you can be involved. Answer phones, lick envelopes, whatever it is that you need, right?
Yes, absolutely. Anytime we have an event around our post, even if I have a 3 or 4-year-old child who comes in and they want to volunteer, they want something to do, if I have a dinner coming up or something, I'll have them fold napkins to get ready for that dinner or something.
It's something that has going to have to get done anyway, right?
I will never turn down a volunteer.
Right.
I mean, you turn down a volunteer once, they may
They're
not
not
come
gonna come
back.
back, yeah.
It's the same reason. Very first impression is critical, and that's the impression that we want to leave with everybody. Is that the American Legion is very high profile. We do hold our heads up high. We are very proud of what we do, and we are there for the community.
As a past department commander, I just want to ask you what that title of department commander entails. What did it entail for you? And you can tell me about what Harry's job as senior vice commander is, too. I forgot to ask him in the first segment.
Well, besides getting more votes than the other person. But no, basically, it's a year commitment out of your life. Actually, it's the rest of your life commitment, basically, is what you're doing. Once you make that decision to run, from your year as a senior vice commander, you're pushing membership. You have to maintain a high visibility around the state. You have to start maintaining a visibility around New England. From there, that carries over to national.
What does that mean by high visibility? Traveling to places, making speeches?
You are absolutely on the road, and if you're lucky, you may be home maybe 30, 40 days of the year.
No kidding. Wow.
I mean, there's an awful lot going on in a small state.
Yeah. Well, at least it's driving distance, whether it's Rhode Island or Connecticut. You're not, at least you can drive home eventually. It's not like you're in a giant state where
Yes.
I would imagine there are more posts, obviously, because the states are larger.
Well, you have the post, but besides the post, a lot of our programs we take beyond the post. We get deep into the communities and everything, like Butch mentioned with the oratorical, Boy State, things like that. a post is not necessarily involved other than the interview process when we're finding our candidates to send off and everything.
We are out of time for your segment now. Let's give the website out one more time so people can go and learn more. We're going to put the graphic up on the screen too.
Oh, thank you. It says ct.legion.org.
All right, real simple. Go check it out. As always, you say that you're honored to be on the show. We're very honored to have the American Legion on the show. So thank you very much for being here.
Sean, thank you.
Appreciate it. Jim LaCourciere, the a past department commander, American Legion, were our guests today. We want to thank them for being on the show. You can watch the show and many others on our YouTube sites. In the meantime, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. We will see you next time. Take care.